Out of this music of the 50s developed today's billion-dollar rock music industry. And today rock and roll is not only directed at working class youth, but has expanded to include the middle class students. Supposedly the rock music of today offers more than disillusionment and a privatized existence. Claims to offer an alternative, joy, happiness, a kind of communal orgasm based on the brotherhood of man. In reality, however, does the rock music culture offer anything of the kind? Between Chuck Berry's music of the 50s and the music of the Beatles and Rolling Stones today, the American businessmen have increased their profits through an even more vicious exploitation of working people, both at home and in the third world countries. What hope does rock music offer for these people? What hope do communes and Woodstocks offer for the millions of people who must work long hours with small wages to support their families, while the bosses become richer and richer? The answer is quite simple. In fact, rock music today serves the same purpose that it served 20 years ago. It allows people to personalize their problems rather than struggling to change conditions around them. It makes people think that they can somehow liberate themselves by escaping the horrors of society. And at the same time as this, it continues to make huge profits for the businessmen. The main function of the whole youth culture movement, of which rock music is a major force, is a co-optive one. It is designed and carried out by the rich businessmen of this country to get people to act out their frustrations symbolically and personally. Some movement groups would argue that what was wrong with Woodstock was that our music was exploited by a group of opportunists, failing to see that Woodstock served a much more insidious purpose, that of turning people off to struggle. Why else would Life magazine acclaim Woodstock as the dawning of a new age? Precisely because Woodstock was nothing more than a turning away from political struggle and into narcissistic jubilation.
Corporate businessmen will sponsor 1,000 Woodstocks and provide the drugs themselves,
rather than have young people engage in political struggles which threaten their profits. All this does not mean that we should stop listening to the Beatles records at parties or start feeling guilty if we attended Woodstock. What it does mean is that we must not allow these things to substitute for the real changes needed in the society around us, and those changes require that we fight back. That we fight back in alliance with working people, who are not only the most exploited segment of the population, but are the only segment capable of bringing about the needed social changes. Rock music, rather than being a liberating force, can be an obstacle to liberation if it is not viewed in this social context. A Rolling Stones album or a Woodstock can never free us. It is only our ability to struggle against and defeat those
who reap profits from the sweat of others, that will pave the way to a liberated society. Rock and roll, its use and abuse.
He is my neighbor, and you do it. Love her, and it is so. He is my neighbor, and you do it. Found him. Love her. There was bad food being cooked. He is my neighbor, and you do it. Love her.